I don't really have any eyelashes, but if you do, it's gonna make a huge difference. It's gonna be like bam. So yes, if it rains or something, your mascara is just gonna get all over your face and it's gonna be ugly and really sad. This look on my face is what I'm doing today. It's very cute and I hope you like it. Start with very clean, moisturized skin, and I can do a more detailed video on skin prep if you'd like, but so far I just have moisturizer and a little bit of a tinted SPF. So I always start my makeup with foundation. I use the House Labs foundation by Lady Gaga and start in the most problematic areas. So for me, that's right around the center of my nose. I think the hyperpigmentation around this area, it kind of gets worse from like a lack of sleep for me, because instead of like dark circles that I get right under here, it's more concentrated in this area around my nose. And then I'm gonna take a flat top foundation brush and then I'm gonna blend that out. So foundation and concealer is done. My skin looks a lot more even and just clean, and I feel so much more alive looking once I put on concealer. I'm gonna go straight into blush. A very bright colored blush. This is the House Labs stick blush in the shade Glassy Pitaya. It is so bright. It's like a hot pink. It looks like it wouldn't be flattering on, but like just trust the process, because once it's blended out, it's the most beautiful pink flush. I put about 3 little swipes like this. And I'm gonna use this blush brush from It Cosmetics, and I'm just going to swipe it away from the center of my face. And as you can see, it is not harsh once it's blended out, as long as you don't use an insane amount. And this is my favorite blush right now. The only thing is you kind of need to blend it out fast, because the longer it sits on your face, the harder it is to blend out because it sets. Next, I'm using a cool tone contour, and this is the Fenty Beauty contour stick in the shade Amber Suede. I've literally been using this contour stick for years. The only thing that you need to worry about is blending this out completely, because I've worn this to a couple of photo shoots where I have thought it was blended out completely and then it showed up a lot on camera. So that's something you need to be careful about. I'm using the same brush that I used for my blush, and then I'm just patting it in. And then I'm making sure that I really blend, especially around the ear here, because there's already shadow there. It's gonna look extra harsh if you don't blend it out. So put a little bit on the tip of my nose in a little U shape, just using that same tapping motion to get it all the way up to the top of my ear. And for my nose, I usually use my finger and I just blend it out, or I can also use the tip of my brush and just be really careful and make sure that the product doesn't move around too much, because it can end up turning your whole nose brown because it's such a small area. For a summer glam, I would normally use bronzer, but I think I'm just gonna stop here with the base products and then just start powdering, because this is what I normally end up doing every day, especially in the winter, because I just find that it looks a bit better. So I'm gonna take a fluffy powder brush like this. I like to use one that's a bit smaller so I can have more precision. And I'm gonna set by tapping. I'm using the Professional powder from Benefit Cosmetics, and then I'm just gonna tap. And I don't bake or anything because I find that it ends up drying my skin out a little bit too much. And then I focus on the areas that I'm gonna get the most oily, like my forehead. Also get oily right here along my jaw, and also my chin. Lip gloss always gets on my chin somehow. Try not to get too much around the eyelid area, because that is the area that I get the most dry. But if you get more oily around there, you can also brush over it. I find that too much powder can make your makeup look a little bit too makeup-y. So for eyebrows, keep in mind that I have some very faded microblading. I either want to like get it removed and like just retouched up, or just removed and not even touched at all, because like I naturally don't really have any eyebrows. This eyebrow pencil is so good. This is the Precisely My Brow pencil from Benefit, and they actually sent this to me, but obviously this video is not sponsored. I'm not monetized on here even. It's so good for making those little hair-like strokes, which I like for my eyebrows because I never want them to look too bold. I know that my eyebrows are a bit bolder than maybe most people's, but I also don't want them to look like insane, like 2016 eyebrows. This is what the eyebrows look like. They're not my favorite today, but they will do. I'm also gonna set my eyebrows and the very little hairs that I do have on my eyebrow area with this brow gel. It's the Precisely My Brow Wax, also from Benefit. And it reminds me a lot of their Gimme Brow product that was really trendy back when makeup YouTube was flourishing. Quickly just brush up the very front bits of my brow to make it look a little bit more like hair, because this has a tendency to look very penciled on. When I was little, I knew that like every white girl would just wear mascara and lip gloss, and I would be so jealous of them because I'd be like, this shit doesn't make a fucking difference on me. Now I realize that you really need to curl your eyelashes if you have an eye shape like this, because it is just not gonna work. And I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say this, but your eyelashes are going to point straight down if you have a hooded eye, and that's really annoying. And sometimes even makeup artists don't understand that. You know, I've been on set and they've either put nothing on my eyes because they don't know what to do, or they put like way too much. And I've had like a couple of makeup artists that have been really fantastic and just like really understood my eye shape and have even appreciated my eye shape and the lid space that it gives them. So, you know, modeling and makeup is all a double-edged sword. Everything is subjective, but you have to know that your features are beautiful and you have to appreciate the very unique features that you're born with. Your eyelashes should be coated in very heavy coats of mascara. And if you're like me and you have very short eyelashes, this is why we use a second mascara. This is the Bad Gal Bang Waterproof, also by Benefit. I have a lot of Benefit products because I'm part of their like Benefit Club Pink thing, which is very lucky and very kind of them, because I get to try out a lot of their stuff. This is actually very good even if you have a monolid eye shape, which is surprising because usually I have to use an Asian mascara, and I don't currently have any Asian mascaras. I've used up all of them right now, but I will be getting a new one once this one runs out. And I recommend Heroin Make or anything by Innisfree. Those are really good for Asian eye shapes. So I'm just gonna take this waterproof mascara and I'm just gonna go over what I just did, making sure I coat every lash. Because if you don't get over all of the little bits, if it rains or something, your mascara is just gonna get all over your face and it's gonna be ugly and really sad. So make sure that you coat every last bit, because over top of the non-waterproof bits needs to be fully covered. If you want to make your eyelashes longer, you can use like a lash serum and all that stuff. I'm not very consistent about doing that, as you can clearly see. This will do. This is very nice, and you don't need long eyelashes to be beautiful. These have been the eyeshadows that I've just been in love with lately. This is the Kaja Beauty, and I think it's called like the bento box or whatever. These two shades. This one is the Rose Macaron, and it has like 3 different eyeshadows in it. This one has like purples. I don't know what powder got on the side of this. And then this right here, this is the shade that I'm gonna probably use today. They both end up looking so neutral and natural. Dark brown. These are all matte. I'm probably gonna use that actually. It could be used as like a matte highlighter, which is like a huge trend right now. Making this light cream shade, we're gonna use it as a matte highlighter. So I'm gonna go right here because again, I have so many shadows in this freaking area and it's really fucking annoying. So I'm just gonna combat that by putting a little bit of lighter eyeshadow in that area, and it's gonna just brighten it up and it's gonna make it look great. And I'm gonna go on the sides of my nose as well, kind of using it as like a little bit of a powder. My camera literally died, so I was just like walking around with like one eye done. Once you've made that shape on both eyes, you're gonna take a fluffy brush like this and you're just gonna blend it out completely, so then it's just like one big blob of whatever. And then after that, you're gonna take a eyebrow pencil, or you can also take a brown eyeliner pencil. We're just gonna use the same pencil that we used on the eyebrows, and we're gonna line the eye. And when I get to that outer corner, I'm going to flick it up a little bit, but I'm gonna follow where my lower lash line goes and then follow it straight upward. You need to make sure that it goes along with the natural shape of your eye, because if you go upwards at an angle like this, it's gonna look really insane. So you want to make sure that it goes along with your lower lash line. Okay, now you should have something that looks like this, and this is where you're gonna take your black eyeliner. You can also stop here, you don't have to do black eyeliner. I just like when it's like a little bit very glamorous, and I like a really defined upper lash line. So I'm gonna close one eye, but not all the way. I'm kind of like doing this, and I'm just gonna draw a super thin line following what I just did with the brown. So the goal is for the brown to peek a little bit through, because you want to still see that shadow that you made. You can also adjust if needed. And then you should get something that looks like this. Very, very subtle wing. It's not too much. Sometimes it ends up looking like a little bit too much on the days that I mess it up. Today might be one of those days because it's not really behaving right now. I just moved my camera to be all the way against my mirror and I feel like it looks a little bit better, but here's my eyeliner. As you can see, I ended up making it a little bit thicker than I normally do. Honestly, this happens like half of the time that I do my eyeliner, but it's okay. You just have to improvise and then just follow along with what your eyeshadow did and you'll be fine. Some days you'll have a little bit of a thicker wing and that's fine. Just go with the flow. Anyway, I'm gonna take that same brown shade and I'm gonna go over top of the eyeliner like that. And again, all of this is optional if you don't want this super smoky look. I just really enjoy this dramatic look even for every day. You don't have to do all this. You can just stop wherever you want to stop. So give those eyelashes one last curl. And if you got any powder on your eyelashes during this step, you can just take that waterproof mascara that you were using, I don't know where it is, and just go and do one last coat. Again, you can't really see it because I don't really have any eyelashes, but if you do, it's gonna make a huge, huge difference. It's gonna be like bam. So yes. So let's do some finishing touches. This is the Game On Glow palette, also by Benefit. I'm gonna take the Shelly blush. I think you can still kind of see the blush that I have on, but take it and I'm gonna just add it over top so it doesn't fade during the day. And I'm just gonna go all the way up like this. Then we're gonna take the Hoola bronzer and I'm just gonna very lightly go over the contour I did. We also don't want that to fade during the day. So adding powder on top of your cream products is gonna be really helpful. This is even more important than setting with powder. I also like to contour my jaw a little bit, my non-existent jaw. And then taking that same fluffy eyeshadow brush, where the hell are you? Oh yes. Taking that fluffy eyeshadow brush, you're just gonna go over your nose contour. And then the cookie highlight over my nose. I don't want to use that like super shimmery eyeshadow on my nose necessarily. I just do the cookie highlight. And yeah, that's everything. And then you can add any lip you want. I really like just doing a lip gloss. Like since the makeup is so eye focused, that I'm just gonna do one color as the gloss. I feel like that's really chic. I feel like the focus right now is like the brown lip liner and then the gloss in the middle, but like just the gloss is like so chic to me. I'm actually gonna add a bit of a jelly tint to the middle of my lip like this. I'm not gonna do any on the sides because it tends to make my lip look a little bit too wide. My lips are naturally already very narrow and focused on the center and I actually like that, so I'm just gonna emphasize it a little bit. So I'm just gonna blend it out very, very subtle. I don't want to do much of a lip liner because lip liner tends to make me look a little odd. I just focus it on the center of my lip and I just tap it out with my finger like this. These are my two favorite glosses for every day. This is the Fenty Heat and Fenty Glow. This is just the regular Fenty Beauty Gloss in Fussy. And this one's a bit warmer tone, more of a brown kind of shade. And because my eye makeup is pretty cool tone, I'm gonna use Fussy. It is just this perfect pink and it really flatters all skin tones. Let me get my hair out of my face before I put it on. Giving my lips a bit better. What it looks like on. This is the final makeup look. I hope this was helpful. This is just what I do. I feel like a lot more people prefer like a more natural look. You don't have to do all the steps, but these are really helpful. Like if you just have like a monolid eye or even like a hooded Asian eye, like this can look really good on you. This makes me feel so put together and so cool, and I just like love wearing makeup every single day. It's just part of my signature vibe and I like that it's really obvious and you can just see the eyeshadow and like the liner. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this, subscribe and follow me on all my socials.